Bye.
Good morning and welcome everyone to the Valley Economic Alliance's celebration of Women's Entrepreneurship Day. I am Sonia Blake, President and CEO of the Valley Economic Alliance, and I am pleased, I am proud, I am thrilled to be with you today and to have you with us so that we can celebrate in this way. And we have a fantastic program with wonderful speakers lined up to help inspire us, empower us, and encourage us toward greatness heading forward. So I want to tell you a little bit about why we're here. So it's actually November 19th is the official date of Women's Entrepreneurship Day. And prior to this position, when I was heading up small business for Mayor Eric Garcetti in the city of Los Angeles, we celebrated Women's Entrepreneurship Day on November 19th. It is an international celebration of women entrepreneurship. And it's something that's very exciting to be a part of because our potential is yet to come. Women-owned businesses have been one of the fastest growing segments of business, of entrepreneurship in the United States for decades. As the former executive director and CEO of the National Association of Women Business Owners in LA, I know this full well. This is a group of business owners who are growing and thriving and also wanting to give back to their community, to their employees, and building the future for our whole community. So we're very excited at the Valley Economic Alliance as a regional organization to look at the women business ownership segment in terms of how does this segment add to our economy, our region, our community, and our well-being. There are about 1 million business owners in the state of California and 200,000 in the city of Los Angeles, many of them located right here in the San Fernando Valley region. And it's very exciting to invest in these business owners so that they can in turn build our community. Our mission at the Alliance is to lead our 5 city partners, and that is Burbank, Glendale, Calabasas, San Fernando, and the San Fernando Valley region of the city of Los Angeles, to lead our city partners in terms of our business groups, our government agencies, educational organizations, and community leaders as well, to unite our stakeholders throughout the Valley and to raise our standards of living and spur economic growth right here in the San Fernando Valley region. There are 5 key areas to our work, and they include economic development, where we have a free business assistance program for business owners that want to grow but need a little help in advising in terms of access to capital and marketing and other types of topics. Number 2 area of work is education and workforce development. So we really support job seekers to upskill and find great jobs, and we support employers to find talented employees and train their workforce. Thirdly, we are promoting livable and sustainable communities. We are actively pursuing environmental sustainability, public safety, transportation systems, K-12 education, all the different factors you can think about where a resident or a business owner might want to locate here and stay here. We are a catalyst for community and economic development, building our communities. Our 2 other areas of work involve marketing the Valley to visitors and residents alike to support our local businesses and patronize our businesses and build our economy, as well as diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we have a committee of our board that works on that with us. And we're very excited about the Elevate program, our Women's Business Hub, which is presenting today that helps us to advance those particular priorities. So I really want to get to our speakers at this time, but suffice it to say that we have programs to help businesses grow, particularly women-owned businesses grow. We're going to put information in the chat, and we encourage you to visit thevalley.net/assistance to learn more about our business assistance program, as well as other initiatives like our community revitalization and connecting employers and job seekers, as well as our housing development campaign. I really want to thank our lead sponsor for today, Comerica Bank, and additional support from LADWP, the San Fernando Valley Business Journal, and the Black Women's Network. We're thrilled about our partnership with these wonderful community leaders and very excited about how we're going to be moving our region forward together. By the way, the meeting's being recorded, we're Facebook live streaming, and the replay and slides will be available on our website at thevalley.net/events. So it's my distinct pleasure to introduce a phenomenal woman, a force to be reckoned with, our keynote speaker today, Shawn LaRe Brinkley, founder and CEO of Living Loved. Shawn LaRe is a licensed marriage family therapist, transformational performance coach, and dynamic noteworthy speaker, trainer, author, and is best described as a people person. Shawn LaRe possesses a magnetic zest for life as her energy is boundless, her passion relentless, and her joyous spirit is infectious. I can attest to that. I've known Shawn LaRe for many years now, and she's just a shot of energy and wisdom. In her private group practice in Encino, California, where she employs and is clinical director, supervisor for associate MFTs and ACSWs, social workers, Shawn LaRe is also contracted with the University of Massachusetts Global, formerly Brandon University, as a field training partner working with their master social work student interns. As a coach, Shawn LaRe's techniques help clients reach deep inside themselves to uncover their true purpose and step up to be who they were meant to be before trauma, obstacles, and life's letdowns got in the way. She empowers her clients to move past the limiting beliefs that keep them stuck and unable to move into the greatness for which they have been destined, which she calls stepping into your who you are-ness. This process positions one to live their God-given, God-driven purpose. And we are so thrilled to have Shawn LaRe with us today. Shawn LaRe.
I'm sorry, I was muted. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. It's so nice to see you, and I'm really excited to be here this morning. I had the distinct pleasure of actually being able to participate in Women's Entrepreneur Day back in the day when Sonia first launched it, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm very excited that we get to do it now in the Valley. So that is fantastic. So as Sonia said, I have a lot of energy, and on top of that, I think it comes from my ADHD. Don't worry, it's my superpower. And so I want to be sure that this is going to be interactive, because I don't want to just drone on for a few minutes with you guys. I want to hear back from you as well. So just know that if you don't play with me, I will call you out. Okay, so be ready to talk back. So the first thing I want to know is who out there believes that right now, today, you are living in your power? Okay, I can only see a few. Veronica's living in her power. Yes, indeed. And Sonia, you can let me know. Is anybody else living in their power? Okay, Azumi?
Yes. Michelle. Theodora.
Okay.
Miri.
Okay, good.
Yours truly.
All right, good. So Veronica, you were the first one that I saw. So tell me what it looks like to live in your power.
Is to be happy where I'm at in life.
Okay, I love that. Okay. I saw Izumi. What is it like to live in your power?
Hi. It means that I keep pushing forward regardless of the result.
Ooh, I'm yummy. That's yummy. That's yummy too. These are good. Okay. And one more. Michelle, did I hear Michelle was living in her power?
Yes, good morning, everyone. To be happy using my God-given gifts.
Yummy. Okay. So I love all of that. And since others of you may not have, how do you say it, risen? You might not have raised your hands. I want to talk to you about what I came up with. I think about living in your power. So for me, living in your power is when you exhaust every opportunity for growth, personally and professionally in your business, and you do so without totally exhausting yourself. Living in your power is also running your own business like a well-oiled machine with systems in place that keep you from spinning your wheels by trying to reinvent the wheel with every task that you endeavor. Living in your power is diversifying your income, managing multiple streams of income, and taking vacations when you darn well please. So how do we get to live in that space? For me, I think it's invest. Now, I don't mean investing in cryptocurrency or the stock market. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but how do you get to that place where you have the confidence to even take risks? Again, you invest in you. But when you invest in something, what's the most important thing when you're choosing an investment? Anybody can tell me that, just yell it out. What do you think?
Return on investment.
Okay, that's good. And what do you need in order to just invest in the first place? If I choose something, what do I need to choose that thing? Anybody want to take a shot?
Excitement.
Yes, and I will go from there. When you believe in something, it excites you. So absolutely. So you must believe in it. So if I'm telling you to invest in you, that means that the first thing that comes when you are going to kill the game is to believe that you can. So I think that a lot of times as women entrepreneurs, we have the skills, right? We have the skills to crush the game. We know our craft. We figured out how to run our businesses and possibly to thrive. So to take from Lizzo, we are 100% that woman, but we're still not operating on full tilt boogie. So we're leaving dollars on the table because we don't trust that we can even go after them. And sometimes we're afraid to take risks. We live in that space, what if it doesn't work? Or in the space of, I'm not ready yet. After I do this, after I do that. Instead of living in the space of, what if it does work? What would that look like? And so I want to tell you a little story. So I'm a serial entrepreneur. I moved to New York City from Toledo, Ohio. And it was culture shock for sure, but I was so ready for it. I just loved it. I was 19 years old, right? And so I went to NYU, and when I graduated, I thought from the time I was 6 years old that I was going to be an attorney because I talked all the time. And my family used to say, anybody that talks that much ought to get paid. And so it was just a given that I was going to be an attorney. But then I also had this creative side, right? And so I won a beauty pageant, and my grand prize was a trip to the Cannes Film Festival in France. So I went to that, and we went to Paris after that. And then my director told the restaurant, Les Garçons, told the guy in the restaurant that I could sing. And he said I had to sing for my supper. And I belted out the blues, my favorite genre. And the manager came over, oh, mon Dieu, and he wanted me to work there. So now at this time, I am 22. I'm about to graduate from NYU and go to law school. And so my first thought was, no, I can't do that. But she said, yes, I can. So I went back home, I deferred law school, I graduated, I hadn't done the ceremony yet. So I graduated, jumped in the fountain, and off to Paris I went. And I got a chance to live there for 8 months. And at that time, you know what I vowed for myself? That I will always say yes to me. But a lot of times what we do when we get in our businesses is we say yes to everyone else. We're scattering around. Everybody gets the yes. Everybody gets the yes. Can you do this? Oh, yes. I need somebody to, oh, yes. And listen, this needs to be done. Oh, yes. And then when someone says, hey, I'm going on vacation, it's going to be magnificent. Can you go? Then we're like, oh, no, because I've said yes to everybody except for me. And so how do we get to that place where we invest in ourselves to the point where we believe so much in what it is that we are doing that we say yes to us first and everything else is secondary? And that's not being selfish. It's actually being selfless. Because when you are safe and secure in living in your who you are-ness, you are able to be selfless toward other people. you are able to give of your talents and your gifts. And as you know, I call them your God-given, God-driven purpose. So I'm a God girl. So whoever it is that you pray to or holler at when you go to sleep at night, then maybe it comes, your source is that. But what I think is when we talk about making a name for ourselves. So how do you make a name for yourself out in these business streets? So I like to think of it as kind of building on your business cred, your biz cred. You know how you have street credit? Well, here you're building on your business credit. And when you want something specific, there's a particular way to go about getting it. So who knows what that is? What do you do when you want something specific? Well, back about 5 to 10 years ago, there was a saying, and it was, if you don't know, anybody want to finish it?
You better ask somebody.
Thank you very much. Indeed. So you don't waste time worrying what they will think if you ask for help, advice, or resources, because that is a wasted space. What if they don't think I know what I'm doing? What if they think I'm stupid? What if? No, it's easy. You say, hey, I need XYZ. Do you know where I can find it? So back in the day when I was fearless, because you know, when we were younger, remember when you're a kid and somebody says, come on, let's go. And you said, okay. And you jumped over fences and you ran into spaces that didn't seem safe or you didn't know about. You ran into the unknown. But then as we get older, we get a little life under our belt, a bunch of stuff starts to happen in our lives, and we choose to be still. So, hey, I need XYZ. Do you know where I can find it? When I have a long history of quitting jobs and not having jobs because I was born an entrepreneur and I tried to work in all these spaces. I didn't fit. I'd either get fired or quit. So I made a business card because people said, you know how to connect everybody. And so my name is Shawn LaRe, and that's LA capital RE. So I made a business card, Shawn LaRe -sources. And my motto was, if I don't have it, I know where to find it. So there's nothing like the power of word of mouth, and referrals rule the streets, y'all. So first, though, you need to know who has what you have. You need to understand who your audience is. And then when you find your audience, you need to research them. Who do they hang out with? What do they read? Who are their people? How do I reach them? And you can't be afraid to ask. Now, I know some of you out there might struggle with the idea of, you know, now everything is on social media. Right now we're on social media. And a lot of us are afraid of it. A lot of us are like, I don't have time for it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be in front of people. Then why do you have a business? Because you got to get out in front of people. You have to be your biggest cheerleader. You can cheerlead for yourself first, and then others will join the bandwagon, but they don't know you. So you got to tell them who you are. Now, when you go on social media, I know a lot of us, we think it's like a necessary evil, right? And so you can go on there like that, like it's something that you have to do, or you can sweeten it and have fun with it and let it work for you. So if folks are going to know you, they've got to see you. We talk about branding. They need to be able to recognize your brand. But what is your brand? It's not your logo. Your brand is not your logo. Your logo is this pretty little thing that you got somebody else to do. If you know about Fiverr, you might have paid $25 for it. And it's this cute little thing that represents you, but it's not your brand. You are your brand. The way that you show up in the world, that is how you create your brand. Do you show up excited? Do you show up ready to give? Or do you show up at a networking event with your head down and your business cards in your car and you're looking around? The first thing you have to do is be seen. Now, I know everybody doesn't have maybe a business that puts you out there like that. But in 2022, going into 2023, Construction workers have websites that lead you to their social media. Everybody's on Instagram, not just your kids. So you have to get out there. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to become this social media diva and know how to make a reel and know how to do this, that, and the other. Listen, I had a real cute social media thing going on with Mindful Minute on Monday, Wednesday tips. Friday, I got to do a dance reel. All I did was go out in my backyard, do the dance and point. And then I sent that over to this social media diva who put all that together for me. And I just got to sit back and watch people go watch it and enjoy it. So you don't have to do it yourself. But again, that is the power of asking somebody. So when we talk about investing, again, how many of you have heard the statement that it takes money to make money? Okay, and what does that mean to you, Veronica?
I'll remember to be careful, raise my hand, you're gonna pick on me. To me, it takes money to make money. To make money is like, well, you have to have the resources to make money. You have to get out there, right? So,
That's right.
and
That's
I'm not
right.
saying you have to be a millionaire, but you have to have some kind of resources or the connections that get you out there where you don't have to spend your money.
Yes, 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 yes. Because it takes a village. Yes, it
Yes.
takes a village to raise your children. It takes a village to raise your business. So who do you know that knows someone who knows someone? How can you barter services? Are there students maybe out there who can do what you need done? So who did so-and-so use? But the truth is, if you plan for your investment, it's much more doable. So put these things in your budget, do the math. How much money do you need to make so that this investment is less painful and even better, painless? Now, how do you get to the next level? So a lot of us think that we have to multitask. As women, we pride ourselves on the ability to multitask. Just a little FYI, your brain doesn't work like that. Try it. Try to send an email and talk on the phone at the same time. You're either going to stop typing or stop talking. Brain doesn't work like this multitasking thing, right? Now, we definitely can pack a lot of stuff into an hour when it comes to our business or our families and all of that thing, but is that really the best way to run it? Teamwork makes the dream work. So who's on your team? Are you out there trying to run your business like the Lone Ranger? You must create a team that respects what you do and is committed to the integrity with which you pride yourself on exemplifying in your own business. So again, invest. Do you need help with understanding or creating your brand? There are people out there who do that. They teach classes on it. And if you don't want to take a class, they'll just do it for you. So you just give them a check. Invest in what you need. Now, this is when you can recognize the power of a team also, because your team is supposed to be built on who you know, your best team. But I invite you to surround yourself when you're choosing with people who have an interest in your growth and your prosperity and who want to see you win. Perhaps this is somebody that you want to mentor, and maybe they match your energy and your skill set, because you want people who can do the things that you are capable perhaps of doing, but you don't have the bandwidth to do or to learn it.
Excuse me 1 second, Shawn, LaRe. This
Okay.
is awesome. I just
Tell me my time.
Check. 1 more minute.
1 more minute. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So when I speak about managing and getting things in one place, and you feel like something is still off, you got some things, but you need some more things. You don't know which direction you need to go. So you all remember Serena and Venus, right? And you saw the movie, who saw the movie King Richard? So he knew that his little girls had potential. And he also knew that potential had to be nurtured and that skills needed to be honed in on in order for them to succeed. So what did he do? He hired a coach. And so that is also an answer for you. There's a coach out here for every single little thing. I have a friend who's a WOW coach, Women of Worth coach. There's coaching for everything that you need, but you have to understand what that is. And if you don't know what, Gwen? If you don't know, anybody know?
Ask
You better
someone.
ask somebody.
That's right.
Somebody.
That's right. So as I wrap up, I love acronyms. And so the acronym that I want to give you that you always must keep in front of you as you do your biz is that all you have to do is be. Now that's BEA. And that is be the best of everything always. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Shawn, LaRe. Oh my gosh, I feel so inspired and excited right now. Thank you for that. Those wonderful, beautiful kernels of wisdom. And I'm so glad everybody stayed tuned because Shawn, LaRe is also on our panel. So now that we're inspired, we're going to move into our panel and really get into some more of the details of what we're all about today. So before we do that, Diana, did you have something quick to say before we introduce our panel?
No, that was an accident.
Okay, no worries. Glad you're here. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. All right. So I am so excited, everyone, to introduce the next phenomenal woman of our program, our moderator, Miri Rossitto. So Miri is an amazing woman and business owner and leader in the Valley region. And she talk about make a name for yourself. She really understands the ins and outs of that. And she's going to be our moderator to talk about the topics that are at hand today. So Miri Rossitto is the founder and chief executive of Cowe Communications, a business and brand development firm that specializes in strategic communications. She is known as the Fixer, which is great. She's great to have on your team. Known as the Fixer, Miri's dedicated to making companies, organizations, and people significantly more impactful and memorable. Miri serves on the boards for both Valley Industry and Commerce Association and the Valley Economic Alliance. I'm thrilled to have her on our board, y'all. And she was recognized by the United Chambers of Commerce as one of 2020's most inspirational women of the San Fernando Valley. I agree. In her free time, she likes to work on understanding what free time actually is and spend quality time with her family, right? Free time, what's that? I'm so glad that Miri has chosen to spend some of her time with us. I would like you to, by the way, I'd like you to introduce yourselves in the chat so Miri can know who's here, what's your business, introduce yourselves in the chat, okay? Do that now, take a moment, put your contact info if you'd like to. And while you're doing that, please join me in welcoming the wonderful Miri Rossitto.
Oh, thank you so much, Sonia. That was really, really lovely. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm thrilled women entrepreneurship is extremely near and dear to my heart. So it is a pleasure to be here with you all today. And I'm very excited about this panel. It's a panel of some extraordinary women, and I don't want to keep you from them. So let's get started. Our first panelist is Theodora Oyie, CEO of Mindful Integration of Construction Services. Theodora is the president and CEO of two small businesses, two, not just one, right? So Mindful Integration of Construction Services and Spiffy and Sparkling. How much do I love that from a brand perspective? I love that. With over 20 years of experience in DEI in the construction industry, her work intentionally promotes the diverse, equitable, and supportive environments necessary to innovate and profitably advance women entrepreneurship in construction. I'm so excited. And then our next panelist is Veronica Corona, CEO of CM Cleaning Solutions, Inc., and she is the vice chair of the California Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. She's the founder of Cleaning Solutions, a janitorial services company dedicated to keeping office buildings, medical offices, and retail centers clean in 25 states. With more than 20 years experience in commercial janitorial industry, Veronica is committed to providing personalized customer service, which gives the company a competitive edge. She's been known to roll up her sleeves and join a crew to ensure client satisfaction, because what else do badass women entrepreneurs do but roll up our sleeves and get on in there ourselves? And you've all met and been inspired by our third panelist, our keynote speaker, Shawn, LaRe. It is a pleasure to have all of you here. I'd love for all of you to post any questions for our panelists in the chat. I'm hoping that I can keep track of it. And so I invite all of you to field questions and post them there, put your information in there. I'm very excited to reach out and get to know all of you. I'm going to kick this off with our first question for Veronica. Veronica, you have built a successful company in a tough field of cleaning services. What advice would you give women business owners who are seeking to grow their business and become large employers?
Wow, that is a long question. I would say it's about creating relationships. My first building that I was given back 14 years ago when I started my own business. I've been in the industry for 22, and for the record, I started when I was like 15. But the first building that I got from a customer was 14 years ago, and the customer said this to me that changed my whole life. She said, because I didn't even want a business for the record, I was like, I'm done with janitorial. I had just resigned from a 6-figure job in the janitorial industry. And she said to me, I'm only giving you this building because of you. I don't even like your boss. And that changed everything for me. And she's the one that said, why don't you just have your own business and I'll give you this building? And here we are, this November 1st was 14 years. It's been a roller coaster ride because, thank you. It's not all nice and straight. No, it's been a roller coaster ride with a lot of twists and turns. And as entrepreneurs, that's just part of the process. And if any of you have ever ridden a roller coaster, it's like, you're anxious and you get on it. And when you're on it, you get sick with all the twists and turns and upside downs, but you have to wait till the end to get off. And guess what? Once you get off, you go back on it again, and then just kind of go. So it's just kind of a process, and it's just part of learning being an entrepreneur and learning to understand that's the motion of entrepreneurship.
Yeah. And I'd rather be on the roller coaster than the merry-go-round. The merry-go-round just goes in circles, right?
Right.
So like, bring on the roller coaster. And so that's really lovely. And building relationships. Do you have a secret for building relationships, Veronica? Is there something about building that rapport that you have advice for anyone?
Yes, absolutely. And so I really believe that you have to be aligned with your why, right? And I wrote this down because I wanted to make sure I shared it today. Where is it? People don't buy what you do, they buy what you do, why you do it, and what you do simply proves that you believe in what you're doing. And I'm telling you, I'm very passionate about cleaning. I walk into a building, I can smell that it's clean, and not that it smells fabulosely clean, because that fabuloso is a disguise. But I love walking into a building knowing that it is clean, and I'm very passionate about that. And when your customers know your why, that creates a stronger bond and relationship. I've met people that one meeting, I met a woman, we're talking at a networking event, and I'm telling her, about my business. And she goes, after we were done, she says, Veronica, you seem very passionate about what you do. I happen to own 4 buildings. And I just kind of went like this. So guess what? She gave me all 4 buildings eventually. So you just never know. And I'm just talking, I didn't even know she was a building owner. I was just having a conversation, because remember, when you're out there meeting people, it's about creating a relationship, kind of like dating. You meet, then you have to follow up with an email, or you might just meet there and have a nice connection. I had a nice connection with her because we just happened to know some of the same people, but I had no idea who this woman was. Some powerful, I don't know, I was gonna say badass, but she's a powerful woman that owns her own construction company and had all these buildings. And I'm just kind of like, how did I never meet her before? I didn't know who she was. I'm just being genuine. And that's very important. Just be genuine, be who you are, and create those relationships. And I always believe it's like dating. You meet, then you have to do some follow-up. So right away, the next day, I'm following up with her, pleasure meeting you. Thank you for the opportunity. And that same day, her facilities manager called me, and like the following week, I'm doing a bid walk. And then like less than 30 days later, I'm starting all 4 buildings. So you just never know a relationship that you're going to meet. I didn't go in there thinking I went to an organization called Cowe, which is Catholic Association of Latino Leaders. And I didn't think I was going to meet anyone that's going to give me business there. I just went in. I'm like, okay, let's see what this is about. It's my first meeting I ever went to for that organization. So just no.
You never know. And as Shawn LaRe told us, your brand is you. And clearly, Veronica, I really like you. And I want to go tour some buildings with you, because I feel like that would be really eye-opening for me. Question for Theodora. Theodora, you rose to the top of a male-dominated field of construction and opened the door for scores of women in the procurement and contracting space prior to starting your own business. How did you do that?
Wow, great question too. So I'm absolutely gonna, first of all, number one, I'm very happy that we're here celebrating women, empowering women, and just helping women. So thank you for inviting me. I'm super, super excited to be here. And I echo everything that Veronica just said about relationships. about being real, about just showing up and just doing the business, knowing the business. So to your point, yes, construction is a construction. I too recognize that construction is a relationship business, mostly a relationship business. And coming from my background, my retail background, what I was observing was that the folks in leadership, I was working for a general contractor at one point. Well, the bulk of my experience has been with general contractors. On this particular project, I noticed that the leadership was, for lack of a better word, telling the customer what the customer wanted or what the customer should want. And they were telling the customer what they're going to give the customer. So first they're telling the customer what the customer should want, and then they're telling the customer what they're going to give the customer. So they didn't even really care that the customer had ideas and goals and whatever. And so I leveraged my customer service, my retail background. Back in college, I worked retail. I was a cashier. And so from all that training, it was, I recognized that this is an opportunity to change things, because what I was watching was not producing any results that were helping anybody. And so what I did is I started to listen to the client. I started to listen to my project team. I started looking at the key stakeholders. Who is going to be impacted by this project? Who would benefit? Who's going to be hurt? Who's whatever? And so whose expectations, for lack of a better word, impact the project's perception in the community, I just paid attention to the client, the project team, and the key stakeholders. Number one. And then number two, like Veronica said, you get to know people. So the project team that actually has to award contracts, a lot of times they're motivated by all kinds of things. So because I was on the inside, I had the opportunity to really get to know them and ask them to consider reassessing their processes so that they can open them up, so they can make room. So the interesting thing is, once you get to talk to people one-on-one, they absolutely will consider and make the time and make the space. But a lot of times they're just not thinking about other issues. They're just focused on their specific task. That's why for me, it's always been very, very important to learn everybody's key goals. What are your goals? What are your expectations? How can I help you achieve your goals? Because if I can help you achieve your goals, all of us collectively will benefit. The project will benefit. The community will benefit. I see myself as a builder. So I help build people and I help build structures. And so it is not a solitary, endeavor. It involves everybody, community, collective intelligence, and of course, perseverance. That's a perseverance, because it's a male-dominated industry. So all that stuff. And I'm grateful that the goals for specific projects. So let's just say Project X, there's a goal for like maybe 25% small business contracting, or maybe 30% diverse business, 30% local worker participation. So all those goals are already established. So what happens is I start building roadmaps, and I check with the key stakeholders to make sure that the roadmaps that I'm thinking will help everybody achieve their specific goals actually will work for them. So it's a partnership every step of the way. It is not, I'm coming in, I know everything, and I'm just going to impose my plan on you. That will not work. So that's how I've been successful. I partner.
I love that. You know, before we were talking about superpowers, and it sounds like, I mean, the superpower here is listening. It sounds so simple and it sounds so basic, but it's listening. It's having no preconceived notions of what I can do for you. It's what do you need and how can I support your endeavors and your goals? And Theodora, I love that. I know we're really eager to hear again from Shawn, LaRe. And so Shawn, LaRe, in your practice, what would you say that women with work-life balance, what do they have in common?
Oh, wow, that's a good one. I think it's drive. I think they have the drive. Some people need to figure out how to uncover it, but they come in wanting something and knowing that they want something, they may not even be searching yet what it is. And a lot of times I toggle between therapist and coach, and I try to definitely keep the two separated, because I feel like people come to me for therapy, they have not yet healed, right? So they're in a healing space. And if they come to me healed, then now what do I do now that I am healed? And so that's where the coaching comes in. And so I help people figure out, what their next steps are, what their passion is. A lot of times we don't know what it is we love because we've been so busy making a living that we haven't been living. And so you have to take some time out and explore. And I think that by the time someone comes to me for coaching and even for therapy, because when you come for therapy, you're ready to get to that place, but there's all this stuff in the way. You have to get through the cobwebs and there's trauma. And, let's face it, y'all, if you walk the planet, you got some trauma. I don't know where it came from, but you got some. So considering that, we have to dig and find out what that is, because a lot of times what we love gets buried by what we have been through. And so clearing the path for people's healing, my practice is living loved pathways to holistic healing. And so that's because, and I know it's long, but I couldn't leave out a single word because it meant everything to me to say that thing. And it's definitely making space for what's next. Yeah. And then when you get coached, you got to figure out what is next. That's when you're ready to figure out you're who you are-ness. I make up words. So
that's a great word. Who you are-ness is absolutely the right word.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. And so Veronica, I'm going to bring it back to you as vice chair of the California Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. What strategies have you seen work to turn networking into business?
Well, at the chamber, it's all about networking. And, it was Theodora that said something really important. It's about helping others achieve their goals, right? And I'm a true believer that the more you give, the more you receive. And many times, let's not confuse, if I'm giving a time, treasure, or talent with the California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to get it back from there. It may come from somewhere else completely, but I do believe it comes back. I strongly believe. And I'm very passionate about business owners, helping other business owners, because when I first started a business, and it was not knowing, right? Earlier, Shawn, LaRe talked about you ask, right? And because I know it all, I didn't think I needed to ask at the time when I became an entrepreneur. And so at the beginning, I felt like I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't know. And it was at the time I got involved with two organizations. One of them was the National Latina Businesswomen Association, and the other one happens to be NABO. And getting involved with those organizations, I'm like, oh my God, there's all these women with business owners. Like I had no idea, because I was kind of like, oh, no, I don't want a business. I come from a family of business. There's never money. We never can meet payroll. There was always like that cash flow struggle. So I didn't want to be, and just like Theodora, I'm also in a very male dominated industry, because for everyone out there, I don't clean houses. I clean commercial office buildings. So it's a whole different world. And, all my associates are all male. I'm the only woman in the room 90% of the time, except when dealing with my customers. It's a bit more of a balance, but I think it's just getting out there and giving back and helping. And you also, guess what? That's how you make connections. when you're giving back, you make strong connections, right? You get involved and you give back. And I always believe it's about giving your time, treasure, or talent, and it'll come back to you trifold, definitely. And that's what I love about the California Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We represent the interests of over 800,000 small businesses throughout the state of California. And that's what it's all about, is representing the business owners, helping them with the resources, helping them connect with the local organizations. Earlier, I was talking to the Valley Economic Alliance. I'm like, oh, you guys need to become an affiliate partner of us. I don't handle that, but it's just about making those connections, because our missions are aligned. It's about helping small businesses. And I'm very big about that, because I felt like I didn't have the help. At the beginning, I didn't know what I was doing, until I asked for help. And I was like, oh, okay, now I get it. And I asked for help and support from other business owners, because they're going through all of us. The business is business. All the business foundation is the same, right? A business is a business. The only difference that we all have between all three of us here, all four of us, is we're in different industries, but we still have the business concept. I feel that all businesses need to run in a certain way. And I've been learning that the hard way, right? It's like, businesses need to learn. And you talked earlier, Mary, you talked earlier about outsourcing it, right? Or I think it was Shawn, LaRe, that so something you have to outsource. You have to know where your talents are and where your weaknesses are. And I don't want to spend time on my weaknesses, because I get stressed. And then the perfectionist side of me wants to be like, oh, I could do that. I should be able to do it better, but I have no idea how to do it. So just hire somebody to do it. It makes your life more easier. But that's part of getting involved with these organizations, is that you learn to be able to do your business. So it's not just about giving back, you also learn. Like, I've learned so much being part of these different organizations and being part of the leadership role. Now, it's not easy being in a leadership role. When you're in a leadership role, it comes with a lot of responsibility. Earlier, I had shared with the group that I'm the first woman to serve in this position for the organization in 40-something years. So, there's this high expectation, right? Because why? This organization was also very male Latino dominated. So it's a little harder, the machismo, and that's okay. That's okay. But it's about, sometimes it's like, I don't want to take over. I just want a seat at the table.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that goes back to what Shawn, LaRe said earlier, which is that it's who's your audience. There's enough for everybody, right? There's enough for everybody. It's finding your audience and then leveraging your village to make everything that much more impactful for both parties, all parties.
I love what you just said, leveraging your village. And I think that's, I feel that is really important, is leveraging your building, because there's enough to go out there for everyone. I always say, I don't believe in competition, because people will do business with you because of you. If I was able to build a multi-million-dollar janitorial company 14 years ago, there's like 2,000 janitorial companies in the LA area. I'm not the only one. I didn't even know that. I recently looked that up a few years ago. I'm like, oh my God, 2,000 janitorial companies in Los Angeles, right? And California falls number 2. Texas falls number 1 with janitorial companies. And I'm like, wow. I'm just talking LA. I don't know the numbers statewide, but the statewide are a lot larger when it comes to janitorial. So I always feel like if I was able to build it, you can too.
Right.
So if you're starting a business, for all the business owners out there, if you're barely starting a business, there is no competition, because people are going to do business with you because of you. And that's why it's important to create those relationships and start nourishing those relationships. It's kind of like I said, like dating. You go on the first date, but if there's no follow-up, if there's no continuation, then it's going to die out, right? So you just have to continue following up and staying connected. And remember the small details about when you meet somebody. A lot of people we all like to talk about ourselves. Not a lot. I'm not gonna say a lot of people. We all like to talk about ourselves. And sometimes we're gonna say things that are like not personal, but something personal to us. And if we remember those key things, that will go a long way.
Building those relationships. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Long-winded answer. Sorry about that.
No, I loved it. I love it. Theodora, for you, procurement and contracting is notorious for excessive paperwork and bureaucracy. And I already fell asleep in the middle of that sentence. But many business owners have exponentially grown their company using that line of business. How do business owners get certified as women-owned? And what are the keys to turning a profit this way?
Wow. So certification, people are very, very confused about certification, particularly in the construction space. So I want to say that as women, let's not focus particularly on women business certification. Because of Prop 209, most public agencies and most private projects don't require women specific certification. They ask for small business certification. So because of, again, Prop 209 focuses on small business participation, mostly federal projects ask for women-owned businesses certification. And certification can be so expensive and insanely pricey. So I would encourage anybody who's considering certification, if they don't already have it, to identify the kinds of projects they want to work on. So for example, if you want to work on state agency, if you want to work with LADWP LADWP. Well, LADWP, City of LA, is pretty much focused on small business. They can't, for lack of a better word, ask for women-owned businesses. So I would not encourage you to spend the money, because there are some agencies out there that will, charge an arm and a leg, which for a small business. $500, for example, for certification, $1,500 for certification is a lot of money for a small business. So again, there's places to get free certification. State of California, Department of General Services, that is acceptable and accepted by practically every agency and every private entity that requires any kind of certification for small businesses. So again, State of California, DGS, free. California Public Utilities also has a free women certification, but again, it's very cumbersome. So for that, for the cumbersome certifications, I would encourage folks to hire an intern, hire a student to help you with bird dogging the application process. So bird dogging means they are going to ask for a ton of paperwork. You as a business owner, you do not have the time to be running around to do that, because you be focused on bringing in business. But an assistant, an intern, an administrative assistant can and will, make sure you're submitting the right, business license. They can make sure that you are, whatever paperwork is being asked. So I wouldn't encourage anyone to think that that the business is going to be profitable simply because they have certification. No, I personally never, ever, ever lead, and I don't encourage any woman to lead the conversation with a potential employer, potential client, by saying that I'm certified as a woman business. I start by saying, and I encourage everyone to say, I know the work, I can do the work. Here's my background, my experience, and by the way, I also happen to have the certification or I qualify to get the certification. Understanding the work, knowing how to do the work is the only way that, number one, will get you the job. Number two, will make you profitable. And for example, us as women business owners, when we're looking for financing from banks, no bank cares or even ever asks for your certification, ever. So I would hope that we don't, for lack of a better word, lead women to the rabbit hole of certification. That's
Perfect.
not our thing.
Powerful. That's so powerful. And for all of you that are looking at the chat, Sonia has put some links in the chat that would be extremely helpful. I am going to ask Shawn, LaRe kind of one last question, and then we're going to go into Q&A. So if anybody has any questions, go ahead and pop that into the chat. And then I am going to kind of lead towards our final panel question, which is it's for all the panelists. I'm only kidding. Shawn, LaRe, I think you're amazing and powerful, and this is for all of you. So there you go. This is what we're gonna do. Let's start with you, Theodora, and then Veronica, and then Shawn, LaRe. What parting words of wisdom can you share with our audience today?
Wow. Number one, because we are in LA County, we have tremendous opportunities for business. Tremendous opportunities for business. So if you will indulge me, I'd like to take a little bit time to explain this one. So Veronica just mentioned that she doesn't believe in competition, and Shawn crushed it by saying collaboration crushes competition. So in LA County right now, I'm going to use using the fact that we are with the San Fernando Valley, Economic Alliance, and the Burbank Airport. I'm going to use Burbank Airport, for example, as a model. Burbank Airport is renovating its terminal. It's renovating, period. So there's tremendous opportunities there for all kinds of businesses. So we happen to have policies in our region right now in LA County that practically every project, whether it's public or privately financed, has inclusion goals. Practically every meaningful, sizable project, every owner in this region, in our region, LA County, is asking for diverse business participation. That's calling our name, we as women. So I would encourage every woman not to waste time with anyone who is playing diversity. Go directly to the owner. Write them, call them, go see them. Make sure they know your business. That way no one can claim we can't find. No, I exist here in LA County. I know you have the work. I know the policies exist. I exist. So I want to work on this project. Give me the opportunity, because if the scope is too large, they can break it up. They can break up the scope so that your company can participate. So you have an opportunity for multiple businesses to participate instead of giving, the work to only one firm, one large firm, so that, because they quote unquote have the capacity, they have the track record, everybody can participate. So again, go back to the owner, hound the owner, so that their words are not just platitudes. We're sick of that. Women generally in this country, 20% of women, there's a statistic out there, a terrifying statistic that says that 20% of women live below the poverty level. And women are far more likely to be poor in older age, as they get older, for a number of reasons. So in this day and age, right now, with the advent of the infrastructure bill, the Olympics coming, the World Cup, there is our region, LA County, San Fernando Valley, there's plenty. All the hospitals are building brand new facilities, renovating, the roads are being built. Our region has the work, meaning the opportunities exist, the policies exist, our small businesses exist, women own the businesses exist, and LA County also happens to be the one of the highest concentration of women-owned businesses. So please, let's not move. let's use the flex of women-owned businesses. This is not an individual. Somebody mentioned earlier, one of the panelists mentioned that this is not a one-person job, or it's not an individual type deal. It is not an individual. Find other people, other women-owned businesses, not necessarily the ones who do exactly what you do, but like somebody mentioned, complementary. Go find this owner, go find these owners, get the work. Because if you don't show up, they'll think you don't exist, and then they'll give it the business to somebody else. So
Yeah.
hound the owners and go get the business.
Yeah.
Go get it. We're here to help.
Ask, like Shawn
Oh,
LaRe said.
no, we don't ask. We go get it. See,
Well-
men don't ask. They go get it. When you
There you-
ask, they won't give you. They won't give it to you.
There you go.
They will do not. You don't ask. You go get you. You know the source because they've already advertised that they have the work. Go get it.
Well said, Theodora. Gwen, I know that you said that you had a question. Did you want to add something?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to camp on what she was saying about the opportunity in our region. I happen to be in Inglewood, and there's so much building in Inglewood that we got a new stadium coming, so construction, all kinds of opportunities are available, particularly to women. LAX is building constantly. We have a new interconnect train that's going to be the first monorail in the Southland coming to Inglewood. So there's lots of opportunity here in our region. And that was, I just wanted to add to what she was saying in terms of the business opportunity for us as women and as entrepreneurs. Thank you so much. Her comments were excellent.
Yeah, no, I agree. Veronica, I know that I want to give you an opportunity to kind of any parting words of wisdom for us.
Yeah, thank you. So remember, there is no competition. It's all in the follow-up. So follow up, you know, and I love what the order just said is to go out there and don't ask, go get it. If you're not out there and asking or following up, you might not just get it, because if you're not seen, you're forgotten. So it's really important. You have to stay on top of it, right? And I want to touch a little bit on the certifications. My company grew, and I'm going to say I'm not certified. So imagine when I get certified, what's going to happen, right? And I do have the small business certification. That's it, with DGS. That's it. I don't have any of theirs. I'm not against them. I think that they're great. But Theodora says something really important. I don't show up and saying I'm certified. I just show up. I'm the expert in my industry, and I know what we're doing. And I think that's really, really important, is that you remember you have to believe in yourself. Follow your passion and believe in yourself. When you walk into, like for me, when I walk into a building, especially if I'm just walking, that there was one building I went to see a couple of weeks ago to give them a proposal. As I'm walking, the lady's asking me all kinds of questions. And at first, one of my associates was supposed to go and he couldn't go. So then I showed up. She probably thought I know more than my associate, just so you ladies know, and I'm not trying to make it sound like I'm better, but I have more experience in the industry. And so we're there, and I start telling her about her floors, and she looks at me. She goes, "Oh, nobody's ever said that to me." I was like, "Yeah, your floors are," I pretty much told her they weren't being mopped and that they needed to be waxed. I mean, it's just something simple. And I even got down and I touched the floor. I said, "Oh yeah, this is all the wax is peeling." And I went like this with my nail. She's like, "Oh." I said, "So imagine if I can do this with my nail, it's kind of a warehouse. So the gentlemen are going in there and go use the restroom, and the women too, because they have those hard shoes. So remember that you're the expert in your field. That's why they called you to begin with. That's why they connected you. They want you to give them a proposal. And I don't know, I think every industry works the same, as you get called for a proposal, or eventually as you build that relationship, you go give a proposal. So remember, you're the expert. You show up there confident that you know your stuff, right? Now, do you think I'm the best and I know everything? No, there's 2,000 other janitorial companies in Los Angeles alone. Any of them could probably do that. I know people that have more experience than I do, but it's just about building that relationship, and that trust is so important, that the person that you're meeting with, you built a trust from the very beginning.
Yep.
And I think that will go a long way, because I'm really big about being honest with my customers, the truth, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because it happens, everything's not always very perfect, and I always say, do you know one service that goes unnoticed until it's not done? It's cleaning. Nobody notices when it's not done. when it's done. But when it's not done, I get a five email trail that we forgot to take out a trash can. But we take out thousands of trash cans every night, and I don't get an email saying thank you for taking out my trash. But that's just the way it is.
Right.
As an industry that goes, but we have to be the better person, and we know that, especially today with the whole COVID, cleaning became like top priority. And there's like a whole niche, and Theodora was just talking about all these opportunities. I'm taking notes, Theodora. I took notes and wrote them all down because there's all these opportunities. Doesn't mean I'm going to get them, but if I can get one or two, I'd be happy, because there's enough business to go around for everyone. And always keep that in mind. There's enough business to go around for everyone. So to all of you, there's enough business to go out there for you.
Very good. Very good. And
In
Shawn,
multiple
LaRe,
industries. I know we're talking about construction and, cleaning. There's everything else. Because
every
again, we're in
industry.
California, in LA County.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. 100%.
In every industry. Shawn, LaRe, what about you?
So the thing that pops up for me mostly is all of the reasons that people don't start their business. And I just, it's fear. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I don't have any skills. I don't have the background, whatever it is. I say do it afraid. Do it terrified. Because, and I'll just give some, I was a therapist working in a house. I always wanted to work in a house. That's what I wanted to do when I was in school. And I got that opportunity. Some women came and they sponsored a therapist meeting that I went to, and they showed that they have this beautiful home, and they use it by membership. You use the Google Calendar. And so I talked to them. I said, hey, do you need anybody, any space? I wasn't licensed. I didn't have a supervisor. So what did I do? I just made up a group and I taught that group. And so whatever it is that you need to do, you have it in you. You just got to pull it out of you. Because then when the house closed after COVID, I was a homeless therapist and I did not want to stay in my house. I have ADHD. I need to get out. I want to see people. I want to touch them. I want to, all of that. And you got to talk. I said to my therapist, I'm going to see this building this guy has. He says he got a 4-room suite with for $2,500 a month. She goes, you need to check here. And I was like, huh? She said, I'm going to send you the name of it. I called the guy the minute I got off of the Zoom thing with her. I'd been coming to this building for 3 years for therapy anyway. And now this is my view from the 6th floor in my 5-room office, 5 therapy rooms, a kitchenette, an admin room, a waiting room, and 2 storage rooms. You gotta just do it. That man, and don't worry about my credit score. If he'd look at my credit score, he'd said, never mind. But because I said, Eve Marie sent me, he said, I like you. So you just have to ask. No, definitely tell people in some of those fields. But when it's something that you need or you want, and you're afraid to ask the question, ask anyway, because you never know. All I can say is no, and I've never killed anybody, trust me. So I just say, do it afraid, go after government contracts. The government is giving away money for businesses, and you don't have to be a nonprofit to have a government contract. Research, become a researcher, and love what you do. And then it doesn't feel like work. And so I would suffice to say that neither one of these ladies love, maybe you don't love to clean, but you love to see things clean. That's a business. You love the idea, the art of building and creating. That's a business. Listen, I make a business out of everything because I like money. Why? Because I have to be able to afford the lifestyle that I want to live. There's no shame in that game. Go get yours, ladies.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And don't ask, because that's what we've learned today, right, guys? Today we've learned to be seen, not to ask. Because why? Because, men don't ask, right? They go in, they get it. So we're going to follow the same suit. We're going to follow our passion. We are going to build trust. We're going to build relationships, and we're going to do it terrified. I really think that again and again and again is the only way to be able to do something that you've never done is to do things, to get somewhere you've never been is to do things you've never done. And so I think you got to do it terrified. So I'm going to give a moment if anybody wants to ask a question in the Q&A. I mean, my goodness, the level of expertise and joy and passion that is on this panel today. I mean, thank you to all of you so much for being a part of this and being so inspirational. I always say when it comes to communications, it's about inspiration and education. And I don't think you could have gotten more of that today than what we did. I mean, this was pretty amazing. So thank you so much. Sonia, I'm going to go ahead and throw it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. And before I let you pass the baton too much, Miri, I want to just have you, I mean, you've built Cowe Communications into a powerhouse in the Valley, really helping companies to make a name for themselves. And I wonder if you have any thoughts come to mind that you want to share with the group about that and how we can make a name for ourselves as small businesses and then turn that brand awareness into converting it into sales. I don't know.
Yes.
That just came to mind. Any tips for that? Everybody would love to know about that.
That's kind of completely caught off guard. So of course, like normally I'd be like, oh my gosh, what would I say? What's really funny? Everybody touched on all of these things. It's really authenticity really matters, right? We've heard about when you walk into a room that it's you are the representation of that brand. I would also say that, and this is something that I'm really passionate about, which is your brand is what people are saying about you when you're not in the room. And that's really, really important to think about. That concept's really important because what you want is you want people to be relaying your brand to other people and understanding what your value is, what you bring. And that way everybody else is kind of doing your marketing for you. And so it's really important that you're consistent in your brand representation. It's really important that your goals and your vision and your values can very easily be understood by everybody. And so if you are leveraging social media, if you're leveraging PR, if you're just leveraging, you don't have to be everywhere all at once, right? So again, it's finding your audience. Shawn, LaRe talked about where is your audience? What are they doing? What are their friends doing? It's really about kind of, converging on this audience and then delighting the hell out of them, right? And so, as Veronica said, that's in the quality of service. As in Theodora said, it's in listening to what they want. It's not automatically inserting. I liken it to buying a car. I remember very vividly, I was a new mom. I had 2 small babies and I went to a car lot because I thought I wanted a minivan. I really did, you guys. I thought I wanted a minivan. And I thought, because I had all these car seats and the strollers, and I walked onto the lot and I was immediately, attacked by all these people. And they were telling me the features and benefits of the car. It's got 75 cup holders and the doors open. And it was all these features and benefits being thrown at me. Not one person asked me why I thought I wanted a minivan. Nobody listened to, and I don't even know why I thought I wanted a minivan. And what ended up happening is I wasted their time, I wasted my time, and then I ended up getting a Chevy Tahoe. But the point is that it's about talking, it's about listening, it's about connecting, and we don't have to do it all. That work-life balance, we don't have to do it all. We really can do enough. There's enough for everybody. It's about quality, not quantity. And if you can kind of just narrow that down and start one place and nail that one place really well, and people understand your value proposition, this thing that you deliver, whether it's a service or a product, if they can understand that one thing, you can grow it from there into a pretty amazing brand. Think about some of the best brands in the world, Coca-Cola, Four Seasons. At the core what their original product or service was, right? It's a soft drink, it's a hotel room, it's one thing that people, and then it grows from there. Be extraordinary at one thing, and then let your brand grow from there. Empower your team, empower the people that you serve, and you cannot lose. I promise you, you cannot lose. So thank you, Sonia. I hope that's helpful.
That was awesome. I knew it would just come out of you. It's like, oh my God, you just tap into this brilliance. I am so inspired and grateful that I get to be in the Zoom room with you phenomenal people, women, leaders, business owners. It's just great. And I thank you so much for your time. Everyone join me in thanking our panelists, our keynote, these wonderful, genuine human beings who are really making the Valley and the world a better place, literally, by their spirit, their energy, their compassion, their love, and the way they're changing the world and adding value for their customers. So thank you, Miri and Shawn, LaRe and Veronica and Theodora, for your brilliance, for shining your light, not being afraid to shine that light. And Shawn, LaRe, did you have something you wanted to share?
Yes, if I could just make a shameless plug.
Please.
So my podcast is a visual podcast. It's called Boss Talk, BOSS Talk, and that stands for Bold, One of a Kind, Sensational Superstars. And so it is tomorrow. I'm having a mompreneur on tomorrow. It's every Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. You can find it on YouTube by Boss LA and Boss Talk LA, and I'll put it in the chat. But also, if you are business owners out there, I'm going to put my information in the chat because I'm always looking for women business owners to be on the show. I love that both Theodora and Veronica are in male-dominated businesses. That sounds like a show to me. So, so I just wanted to let people know that. And I'm, like I said, if I'm looking for guests, so whatever it is you do out there, holler at your girl. Thank
Awesome,
you.
Shawn, thank you for that. And to all of our panelists, please do put your contact info in the chat if you'd like people to be in touch with you. I know we had a question about how to get started in contracting. I put some tips there, but Theodora, if you have more, or Veronica have more insights into that, amazing. We are going to I'll do a brief announcement here about some upcoming programs, and then we're going to pause our recording, and then we're going to do some live networking. So you'll be able to, everyone participating will be able to come off video and let's just talk, and get to know each other and have everyone introduce themselves. So when we hop off and close out the webinar, you'll get a post-program survey. So we ask that you go ahead and complete that so that you will, so that we will know what you think and how we can improve the program. Speaking of next programs, I'm going to go ahead and launch a little poll, and I'm going to ask you if you prefer virtual or in-person meetings these days. We're located in Sherman Oaks and can do programs at our office, which is a great commercial space on Van Nuys Boulevard in Sherman Oaks, and love to know if people want to go in person or be virtual. But I'll tell you that what we have coming up is we have a community, Livable and Sustainable Communities Committee meeting on November 17th. This Thursday after our board meeting, we're going to have the San Fernando Valley Council of Governments come on. Now, the Alliance was instrumental in helping founding that group in 2010, but this is like a chamber of governments. So you have Burbank and Glendale there, and you have LA and San Fernando, and Calabasas is in another COG, they call it Council of Governments, who we also work with. But you can learn about how your city is operating and what they're working on and how you can do business with them and all kinds of policy matters and such and so on. So definitely check out our website at thevalley.net/events to get involved with that if you're interested. Also, December 15th, our board is holding our annual board meeting at Calabasas City Hall, and we'll introduce our new board of directors for the year. It's a great way to meet 80+ influential members of the San Fernando Valley's leading community. So definitely want to check that out and learn about the Alliance and how we operate. And then January 12th, I'll share with you our future regional development summit at CSUN. The president of CSUN, an amazing woman, Erica Beck. Dr. Erica Beck is a co-chair along with Lois Clavier from JP Morgan Chase Bank. And we are convening the best minds on real estate development and office space and transitioning retail space into housing. We're going to have the leaders from like Vince Bertoni, the head of the City of LA City Planning Department, who you will be able to meet and talk to, the zoning, the parking, the different ways that we want to see the Valley, especially the Valley, but all of LA, develop and grow. And we're at the table, y'all, on real estate development and what's happening to build our city, building people while building places. So I want to encourage you to be a part of that. So I want to put in the chat also our Facebook group for Elevate. So Elevate is our women's business hub, and we are going to continue to be together in the work, and we're super excited about what's coming up in that regard. Now let's see, I'm looking at the poll here for Women's Entrepreneurship Day. And oh, the question says yes or no. Okay, so this is a confusing question. The question is, would you prefer to meet virtual or in person? And so the options should be virtual or in person. So that didn't work out very well. But when people say yes, okay, we got to just put it in the chat then. Here's what we've got, yes or no. If you guys, I'm sorry about that. The poll doesn't work very well. If you can just tell me in the chat, do you want in person or do you want virtual? I want to know, where do you want to meet? Okay, so just put that in the chat because our poll didn't quite hit the mark. I do want to tell you about our Facebook group. So I'm going to put that in the chat. And this is where we post grants for women, special incentives and initiatives that we hear about for women business owners specifically. We post that in the Facebook group. So we're going to start doing that posting again these days. Lastly, you know what? Just be in community. Be in community with the Alliance, wherever you need to be in community. And we are here for you at the valley.net/events is where you can find out what's happening next. And then here I'm putting the valley.net/assistance is where you can get a mentor, a business advisor completely for free, funded by our sponsors to help you build and grow your business. So with that, I'm going to say we're going to conclude our Facebook Live and conclude our recording. And please encourage you to come off video and let's network. Thank you all for joining us. Happy Women's Entrepreneurship Day, and see you at the Alliance very soon.